Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kari, and today I'm going to be comparing UK and US book covers. Now this is something that's really important to me because, as you may know, I'm an American who lives in France, and so when I go into a bookstore, there's always the UK copy. They really don't sell US editions here. So if there's an American edition that I want, I have to order it online. I don't have a choice, and I have to wait longer to get it. But most of the time, it's 100% worth it because I'm very particular about my book covers. So today I'm going to be voting on 20 US and UK book covers and deciding who publishes the most beautiful books. I think it would be really fun if you keep score as well, and let me know down in the comments below, did the UK or the US book covers win for you? So let's start off with one of my favorite books that I've read so far this year. I will not shut up about this book, and it's Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. Alright, so first off, color-wise, I'm more drawn to the UK one. I like the blue and the yellow. I think that looks nice. And the main theme in this book is mental health, so that would explain why these women look so distraught. And I feel like using a cartoon character to display this very serious theme in this book is kind of strange. Normally I don't like when there's people on book covers, but I like this UK one because you can't see her face. So if we could see her face, I think I wouldn't like this one as much, but I'm definitely gonna vote for UK on this one. Next, we have a book that really made a stir last year, and that's No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. I don't mind the US cover. I think that it's interesting. It's evoking that we're in this kind of other world, this other social media world almost. And it kind of gives like a sci-fi vibe almost, even though this book is not sci-fi at all, but it's kind of like she lives in social media. But aesthetics wise, I love the UK one. It's beautiful. I love the colors. I love the rainbow. I mean, the color scheme is just perfection. I love it. Also, I like the font better. But just on color themes alone, I think the UK would win this one because I don't love the orange and yellowy vibe on the US one because they both do have that rainbow, but I love the color scheme of the UK one. I'm gonna go UK, no question. Next is another one of my favorite books that I've read this year, gonna be one of my favorite books of all time, and that's Bunny by Mona Awad. Okay, so the UK has like a real bunny on the cover and the US is more abstract. Also, the UK one, it has writing all over it, all the little blurbs everywhere. I don't like that. I mean, the US one has a little bit, but it's not as loud. What's weird is that they both have a blurb from Lena Dunham, but they're two different blurbs. That's weird. Again, with the orange, I don't like the orange on the UK cover. I mean, there is orange on the US one, but it's more pastel, so that makes me like it. They both have what looks like handwriting font on the covers, but the US font is definitely superior to the UK font. I don't know what it is about the UK font. I don't like that at all. But the US one, I'm obsessed with. I'm gonna go US on this one. Next is a dark academia book that came out last year that I loved. It was so good, and that's Madam by Phoebe Wynne. So the US cover definitely evokes the isolation in this story. I forget what island they're on, but they're in the UK somewhere on an island, and that cover definitely evokes that. And I like how the long A looks like a dagger or something. Like, you can tell this is really sinister. The UK one though, I'm obsessed with. I think that this is one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. It almost looks like it should be 3D. Like if you put 3D glasses on, it would be 3D. I don't know, I should try that because this is the copy that I have. And I love that all the little figurines on the cover, they're all white and facing one way, but then there's the one that's black facing the other way, and that's symbolizing something in the story because the main character is a teacher at this private girls' school, and she's not like the other teachers basically, and we already understand from the cover that this is going to be about somebody standing out from the crowd. Normally I don't like red covers, but I'm obsessed with this UK cover. I do like the font on the US one better. I think it's more interesting, but I love what they did with this red cover. This point's going to the UK. Next is another one of my favorite books from last year, and that's Animal by Lisa Taddeo. So let's look at the US one first. So this looks like a wanted poster to me, like an abstract modern art wanted poster, which I don't love. And the white background with the black text, I don't know, that's kind of boring, isn't it? I'm actually surprised that this is the US edition because I feel like this is something the UK would publish. They're more plain in their book covers. So let's look at the UK one. I feel like the UK cover is beautiful. I love the close-up of this girl's face, and the fact that her eye is orange and animalistic-like, which obviously the title is Animal. And since this story is about female rage, I feel like this eye shot really evokes that. And I even saw that some people's copies of this, the eye like glimmers almost. I'm gonna go with the UK cover on this one because I think it just looks more interesting. I don't think I would pick up the US cover if I just saw it sitting on a shelf. All right, next is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea Summers. I haven't read this one yet, but it's on my TBR, and I'm really excited about it because I've heard really good things about it. So let's look at the UK cover. So like I said, I haven't read this yet, but I do know it's about like cannibalism. So the UK cover, I'm questioning what a pineapple has to do with the plot. Maybe it has something to do with it. I don't know, I can't say. Obviously a butcher knife, I can see how that would fit with the story, but a pineapple, I don't know. And why is the pineapple bleeding? I hate the font, hate it. Why is it diagonal? It doesn't need to be diagonal to fit into that space. It could just be straight along the top. Even the blurbs are crooked. What the heck? And this is published by Faber? Normally they publish really beautiful books. Okay, well that's the UK. Let's look at the US. Okay, so the US cover is definitely following in the steps of My Year in Rest and Relaxation, using like classical art as the cover, which I'm loving this trend in publishing right now. Also, how perfect is it that she's holding a heart? I really like this font. I feel like when you look at these two covers, the UK cover makes it look like it's gonna be like a joke almost, like a comedy slasher or something. Whereas the US one makes it look like there's going to be more depth to it, that it's going to be more dark and sinister maybe. Again, if I just saw the UK cover on the shelf, I would definitely never pick that up, but the US cover would definitely intrigue me. I'm giving my point to the US on this one. All right, next is a thriller that was released earlier this year and it had mixed reviews. I was so on it as well, and that's The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. All right, let's look at the UK one first. All right, there's not a lot happening here. It's pretty much all black, and then the door opening with the little Eiffel Tower coming through with the light. That's creative. I like that. I think that that's smart. But that door doesn't even look like a real door. It just looks like pic art or something. They couldn't do better than that, where they're like on a budget for graphic design or something. Also the font. That font is so basic. Like, why bother? It would be better if that text wasn't even there and it was just black on either side of the door. All right, let's look at the US one now. I love this cover. This is one of my favorite covers of all time, I think. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Even though the book was just so for me, I really didn't like it that much at all. I'm obsessed with this cover. I love that it's the typical Parisian Haussmann building in the background with this like ominous filter on top of it. And again, with the handwriting font, normally I don't love handwriting fonts, but the publishing industry seems to be choosing the right handwriting font, so that's cool. And I love that the font is pink too. I don't know, this whole color palette is just beautiful. I love it. But you know what's ruining this cover? Say it with me, a non-removable sticker. So it says the Reese's Book Club pick, the guest list. So it's not even promoting that this book is on Reese's Book Club list. It's promoting that the guest list was on the list. So the fact that this author's previous book was on the list is supposed to sell you this book, apparently. Get the damn sticker off this beautiful book. I'm mad about it, but I'm still giving my point to the US on this one. Next is one of the worst books I've ever read, and that's The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. All right, let's start with the UK cover. Okay, I like the font. That's an interesting font. Don't read this one alone at night. Yeah, because it's gonna bore you to sleep. So boring. Anyway, okay, I mean, this is fine. It's okay. All right, let's look at the US one. This is stunning. Honestly, beautiful. I'm obsessed with this cover. This horrible book does not deserve this beautiful cover. I love how intricately the hand is posed. Like the hand on the right, just the way that the fingers are posed is so beautiful. And I love that the skin is like glowing, but I'm mostly obsessed with the cufflinks, like the ruffles at the sleeves and the bracelets. And the hand on the right on the bracelet, there's like a picture of a red eye on the bracelet, which is really cool. Like the more you look at this cover, the more details you see, and I love that. I mean, I like the font on the UK cover, but I also really like the font on the US cover. I just feel like the US cover is way more interesting to look at. And not only is it interesting, it's absolutely beautiful. It's really too bad that this book freaking sucked, because what a beautiful cover. I'm giving my point to the US on this one. All right, next is another book that I read last year, and that's Outlawed by Anna North. All right, let's start with the US on this one. Jail. No. This is so ugly. Like I said before, I hate when faces are on book covers, and this person's face isn't really even on it. It's just the lips and the hat and the scarf, but I freaking hate it. Really, I have nothing to say. I don't like this cover at all. Let's see, what can I find that I like about it? I do like the font that's used for the title, I guess, because it's Western. I don't know. I don't have much more to say about it than that. Let's look at the UK one. Yeah, this one is way better. Just the color scheme alone is way better. I feel like the US cover is way more chaotic. Like there's just stuff everywhere. Like the clouds and the blurbs and the different colors, like it's just too much. Whereas the UK cover, I feel like it flows. All the colors complement each other. And like the angles of the mountains are really pleasing to look at. And I love the little people at the top of the mountain. I think that's really cute. I like the font of the UK one, but I do think it would look nicer with the US font on it, because like I said, it's more Western, and this is a Western story. But yeah, I cannot vote for the US cover in good conscience. I'm definitely voting for UK on this one. Another book that I read last year and really enjoyed is For Your Own Good by Samantha Downing. All right, let's look at the UK cover. Okay, this to me is a typical UK thriller cover, and I don't understand how these books sell, because seriously, every thriller in the UK is published with some variation of this cover. I can't stand it. I don't understand how these books sell. Like there's always a woman's face with some really plain font. So if you haven't read this story, basically the main character is a male teacher who tries to get revenge on students and other teachers who do bad things in his opinion. Now maybe I'm forgetting one of the main characters. I do know that there's a female student who's kind of important to the story, but she's definitely not the main character. Why is there a woman on the UK cover? I don't get it. Also, just the color scheme. Hate it. Also, look at the little sticker at the top. It's promoting My Lovely Wife by the same author, but it's the same picture on the sticker as that cover. Why are they using the cover of For Your Own Good to promote My Lovely Wife? Make it make sense. Okay, anyway, let's look at the US cover. This is beautiful. This conveys dark academia thriller for sure. The portrait shows that we're going to be in this elite school, and the graffiti font is kind of showing that people are going to rebel against the perfectness of this school. Also, I like that the man in the portrait's face is graffitied on so you can't see his face because, you know, I don't like faces on book covers. I think this is a really cool cover. I'm definitely voting for US on this one. All right, next is another book that I just read recently, and that's We Had to Remove This Post by Hanna Bervoets. All right, so let's look at the UK cover. Obsessed with the color palette. Beautiful. The pink and the purpley blue. Love it. I like that the title is going down the middle of the book. I think that that's really interesting to look at. Just on color scheme alone, I really like this one. All right, let's look at the US cover. What is this? Is that supposed to be something? I can't tell what it is. Okay, I have no idea if that's supposed to be something or if it's just supposed to be blurry like that. Although it is evoking social media disturbing elements, which is what this book is about. Also, I really like how the title and the author's name are placed on the cover. I think it's cool how the title is going around the corner. However, this is translated and the translator's name isn't on the cover of the US edition and it is on the UK, so I like that. Looking back at the UK one, it does look like the buildings in the background are kind of blurry in the same way that the US one is. So it still kind of gives that technological vibe, but just on color scheme alone, I think I have to go with UK on this one. Next is a book that I read at the beginning of this year and it was a huge letdown, and that's Matrix by Groff. All right, let's start with the UK cover. Yeah, this is one of my favorite covers of all time. No matter what the US cover looks like, it's not gonna beat it. I freaking love this cover. I love the color scheme. I love the little nuns, and each nun is different. I really like the font. And also this book has foiling on it, which you can't really tell looking at the picture. But here you can see how it's foiled. It's so beautiful. And here's the little nuns. They're so freaking cute. I love this cover. It doesn't even matter what the US cover looks like, honestly, because this is one of my favorite covers of all time. But let's give the US cover a chance at least. Okay, yeah, no. 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 This is so boring. And it conveys literally nothing about the story. Like the wavy lines are giving me sun vibes. The story has nothing to do with the sun. What is that trying to evoke? I don't understand. And since this book is so mediocre, it really needs that UK cover in order to sell. So the US should really pick up the UK cover just to sell the book. Definitely going UK on this one. All right, next is one of my favorite books from last year, and that's The Push by Ashley Audrain. Let's start with the UK cover. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking about. Every UK thriller has a woman's face on it in super plain text. Okay, so you already know my opinions on this one. All right, is there anything I like about this? I like the color of the font. That's about it. Hate that there's a face on it. Hate that it's so plain. Hate that it's so cliche UK thriller cover. All right, let's look at the US. Love this cover. This is beautiful. I'm obsessed with this color scheme. So it has similar purple to the UK one, which I liked, but also this teal, they complement each other so well. Now, while there are faces on this cover, they don't look like real faces because obviously this is trying to look like one of those ink blot tests where you have to see like what do you see in this ink blot and it says something about you. I think that this cover is so cool, and the fact that it's evoking an ink blot test actually hints at that we're going to be examining like the psychological state of someone. Also, the font is really cool. I like how it's slashed in half. That's pretty cool. But we need to get rid of that freaking Good Morning America sticker. Oh my god. Definitely voting US. All right, next is a book that I haven't read yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and that's Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. All right, so let's look at the UK cover. So already cartoon people on the cover. Don't love it. The font is giving PowerPoint presentation. This is super boring. Probably would never pick this up. All right, let's look at the US one. This cover is stunning. Obviously, the noodles are perfection. I don't know if the point is that the noodles are supposed to be making an H or if they're just supposed to be showing like a connection or a tie between people. Either way, I'm obsessed with this. Also, the font is really fun. I enjoy it, especially compared to the UK font. How ridiculous is that font? I'm definitely voting US on this one. Next is another book on my TBR that I cannot wait to read, and that's All's Well by Mona Awad. All right, let's start with the UK one. I hate this cover. I hate it. What is she doing? I hate the background. I hate the little spots. I really don't like this. This is so ugly. I do like the pink font, I guess. Yeah, I don't like this one. Let's look at the US one. Okay, I think that this is creative, making the Shakespeare face with pills, because this is about a high school theater teacher, and I'm pretty sure that she has chronic pain, so I imagine she's taking medication for that, so that's probably what this cover is alluding to. I really like the creativity of that. And also maybe like the medication is what's making her smile, hence the like smile Shakespeare face. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I'm just guessing. But here's where we have a dilemma. There's actually another cover that I feel like needs to be acknowledged, and that's the Canadian cover, because Mona Awad is Canadian. Now look at her. Look at her. This is a stunner. This is perfection. This is one of my favorite covers of all time. This is so beautiful. I love the girl on the cover. I love that she's been shot with these little arrows. I love her pose. I'm obsessed with the font. I love the font color, especially against the background. I think they complement each other so well. Canada has entered the chat. Now, obviously this video is UK versus US, but if I could vote for this Canadian cover, I would, because this is perfection. I freaking love this cover. But if I had to choose between the UK and the US, I would pick the US because I like the art with the pills. Okay, next is another Lucy Foley. I read this one last year, and that's the guest list. All right, so the UK cover, wow, this is boring. It's so boring, the plain white. Also that black thing, it's supposed to be the island that they're on. It just looks like a blob. This is so boring. Again, with the PowerPoint font, like, why? The US one, on the other hand, has the cliche Lucy Foley font, which we saw on the Paris apartment. I love this font. She needs to stick with this. Also, I really like the color scheme, the like dark, gloomy background with the yellow font. It looks really nice. It definitely evokes the vibes of the story better than the UK one. The UK one could be about anything, but the US one really shows you that it's going to be a stormy, isolated story, and I just love the color palette. It looks so nice. I'm gonna go US on this one. Next is a crowd favorite, Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. So the UK cover, now, it does look pretty plain, and there's two women down at the bottom. Now, I've said this before, I don't like people on the covers, I don't like little characters on the covers, but I like that there's these little color squigglies across their faces. It's like the graphic artist was like, I know people don't like faces on covers, but then the US graphic designer was like, fuck it, let's put faces on the cover. I just don't like when a cover tells me how a character is supposed to look. I like to read about the character's description and then imagine them for myself. I think that's why I don't like faces on the cover. We've cracked the code, everybody. So yeah, this US cover, I really don't like it. I think it looks cheapened with the faces on it. I do like that Conversations with Friends on the US cover is all the same font size, whereas on the UK one, Friends is bigger. Like, why is it bigger? And just all the font in general is all the same size on the US one. I do like that better. But the faces on it completely ruin it for me. I'm voting UK. Next is another thriller, and that's Local Woman Missing by Mary Kubica. All right, the UK cover, I don't mind it, except for that stupid pink shoe. What is that pink shoe doing there? Now, I love pink, but I hate that freaking pink shoe. I like the color palette. I like the teal with the black with the pink font. I like that. That looks nice. However, again, PowerPoint font. I hate this font. It's stupid font, but not surprising though, because it's a UK thriller cover. I don't hate this cover as much as I usually hate UK thriller covers, so I'll give it that, but that pink shoe has got to freaking go. All right, the US cover. I love the color palette on this one. The gray sky with the clouds and the pink font, and the missing word is fading into the trees. I love this. I think this is so nice to look at. I don't remember trees having anything to do with the story. What are these covers trying to evoke? Even though I don't remember trees having anything to do with the story, I still would rather look at that than that stupid shoe. I'm gonna go with US on this one. Next is Such a Fun Age by Kiley Reid. Okay, so this UK cover, I love the pink font. I don't mind the little characters behind. It looks like it's the main character, the babysitter with the little girl that she's babysitting, and then like the cop that they run into at the beginning of the story. I don't mind that because I like that it's teal. It's not trying to look realistic, but I wish it was a different background than the cream. Now the US cover, I absolutely love. For the longest time, I didn't even notice what the little shapes were in the background. And now that I do notice what they are, I really don't even care what the shapes are. I just love the shape of them, if that makes sense. Just how it looks as a whole. I just think that the colors of this US cover are stunning. They even have the same font on the UK and the US cover, which I think is interesting and actually a good choice because I really like this font. I love this US cover. I'm definitely voting US. And finally, we have another fan favorite, which is Circe by Madeline Miller. All right, so first of all, obviously both of these are black and gold, but the UK cover, I love how the title is going vertically. I think that that's really nice. I love how the design is symmetrical and that it's this really pretty floral design. And actually this book is mostly gold foiling, which I feel like doesn't really come off in this picture, but this is the edition that I have. So here you can see how shiny it is. And also the spine is really nice. So anyway, stunning book. Let's look at the US. Okay, so face right away. Don't love it. Even though I get it, this is a Greek mythology story and that's a Greek mythology face. Okay, I don't like it. And I do think the US edition is gold foiled as well, but that's not gonna save this. I think the UK one is stunning. It's beautiful. All right, so that's all 20 titles and 40 covers. So I'm sure I've been keeping count on screen for you who's getting how many points, but right now I have no idea who's won, so I'm gonna count real fast. All right, so it looks like the US won barely at 11-9. And actually one of those points for the US technically should have gone to Canada, but they weren't in the running, so it was a little gift to the US. So that's not a bad mix. It's actually almost half and half, which makes sense with my book buying habits because I do feel like half the time I can get my books here and half the time I have to order them from the US, so logical. I hope that you had fun looking at all these book covers with me. Let me know in the comments down below, what was your final score for the US and the UK, who won, and which book covers did you enjoy the most? Please like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you back. And I'll talk to you again next time. Bye!